Inazuma, in version 2.0 of Genshin Impact, has sown the seeds for many plot points to be expanded later on. And I don't just mean the obvious progression of the Archon questline, but the smaller secrets sprinkled throughout. One faceless name that has caught my attention though is a certain Arataki Itto. Though you can only find information about him buried in voice lines, NPC dialogues, and bulletin board posts, he seems like a very interesting character. He is a self-proclaimed rival of the Tenryou Commission's Kujou Sara, has a legendary family lineage, is the leader of his own gang, is an Oni, and is someone who has lost his vision, but not his ambition. To start off, Arataki Itto is mentioned in the voice lines of both Yoimiya and Sayu.
Oh, he may look scary, but he is very popular with the children. However, he can be very competitive. Every time we play with the children, it always turns into a showdown between him and me. For example, we drink a bowl of ramen soup in one go, or try to eat sour plums without making any faces. The children will cheer us both on and try to guess the winner. And when that happens, well, then I can't let him beat me, right?
Why does he have to make such a racket? And how did he get so tall?
Some notable traits that we can gather are that he is competitive, he seems to be kind of annoying, and he is pretty tall. Technically, we don't know that having voice lines about a character confirms that they will eventually be playable, but it has historically been true, so I would say the chances are quite high. The next place where we get the most information about this character is from the various bulletin boards placed throughout Narukami Island. From the one on Commercial Street, we know that he lost his vision to Sara at some point and is hoping to get revenge. The Rito board shows that he apparently lost pretty badly and is constantly pestering Sara for the rematch. She is so fed up that she even agrees to it once the war is over. The Uyu restaurant board again shows that Itto is unrelenting and is even kind of a nuisance for the locals. Lastly, the board on Rito port ends with them both telling each other not to die, possibly showing that Sara has some kind of respect for Itto. On each bulletin board, Itto inserts some kind of title for himself, so if you couldn't already tell that he has an ego, he has a huge ego. Additionally, Uesugi of the Inazuma City Police Station recalls one instance in which Itto challenged Sara to a sumo showdown as a form of rematch. A bit weird to say the least. Uesugi states that Itto was dragged away by a masked lady though, and the duel never happened. Maybe from just a couple bulletins I could see them being potential love interests, but Itto's insistent harassment now leads me to think otherwise. So interestingly, unlike how other vision holders have lost their ambition and memories after theirs were taken, Itto seems to be even stronger spirited now. I think it's a bit too early to say how this is possible, but I personally don't think he used a fake just because he is doing the exact opposite of laying low. But who knows, maybe he's just that stupid. Anyway, if he were to become playable, he would presumably have access to a vision somehow. This aspect of his character certainly makes him stand out, which is why I think he would be an interesting character to fully flesh out. One of Itto's many titles was the Oni Sumo King, but it seems like it might be more than just words. In Japanese folklore, the Oni is a type of evil demonic creature that is characterized by long horns protruding from its forehead. NPC Ria mentions that there are rumors floating around, which we can infer are about Itto, and one of them mentions that he has a pair of long horns. The street food vendor Yukio mentions an Oni gentleman who challenged a kitsune-eared woman to an eating contest of kitsune ramen. The long-horned man won, but suffered a severe allergic reaction because Oni can't eat the beans in the fried tofu. In Japan, kids celebrate Setsubun by throwing roasted beans at people who are dressed like Oni. All this combined with the fact that Sara calls him a Crimson Oni leads me to believe that he is at least part Oni. This isn't strange by any means, considering Kujou Sara is confirmed to be a Tengu, which is also from Japanese mythology. A few other Oni are mentioned here and there, but it is unclear if they are connected to Itto at all. Though Toma does have something resembling horns, they are not shaped like the ones that Oni typically have, and it's already confirmed he's not a native to Inazuma, so it is reasonable for his design to not have those kinds of influences. Yoimiya's story 4 states that even Arataki Itto, the head of the Arataki gang, comes over to buy her specialty made knickknacks, which he then brings to go challenge the one he has declared his nemesis. She also has an additional voice line about his gang specifically.
Arataki's gang? Huh? So he isn't just someone with too much free time in his hands?
Other than this, we don't know much about why he is the head or even what the gang does, but we can at least infer one of his other members. Sayu has another voice line that mentions Itto, this time about a different character called the Kuki ninja.
Doesn't ring a bell. What? Arataki Itto's little sidekick? Ugh. Well, she's definitely gotta be a sleep disturbance then. Birds of a feather flock together.
Another potentially playable character, but other than this voice line, there is literally no information about her. Arataki is a family name that shows up in another place, not related to Itto. The flavor text for the Kitine cross-spear weapon mentions a certain children's song that circulated widely within Inazuma. Arataki of the Front Gate, Iwakura the Successor, Kitine the Serpent, Takamine the Mistsplitter. These phrases describe the dazzling warriors who once illuminated the Earth like comets. There used to be many other names in the list, but they have since been lost to history. The same names are mentioned in the flavor text for the Mistsplitter Reforged, citing them to be historically famous martial artists. So there you have it. Itto is likely a descendant of one of Inazuma's 4 most historically renowned fighters. The last bit of in-game information about Itto that I could find comes from the NPC Shota. He mentions that the big guy with the horns beats him at cards and takes all his snacks. This line is especially funny when compared with his previous dialogue about Yoimiya, who he genuinely admires. The very last speculation I have though is based on his actual name. The first kanji in his name can mean wild, rough, or violent, which definitely fits the personality he has portrayed so far. The second is an outdated kanji for waterfall, and the last two means one of the unit of measurement known as the toe, which is equivalent to about 18 liters. Yeah, I'm not completely sure about the exact significance of that last one, but his name overall could be hinting at a hydro vision. To sum up all of our findings about Arataki Itto's looks and personality, he is a tall, strong man with big horns, described by some as scary looking. He has an arrogant, competitive personality, but also seems like someone who enjoys fooling around and having fun. Though it seems that most people have a negative perception of him, he is the leader of his own gang, so it could be that he is just misunderstood. So that about wraps it up for everything we know about the character Arataki Itto. I think he has a lot of potential as a playable character, making that one more to add to my list of people to get overly hyped about for no reason. I can only hope we might get more information in 2.1, maybe in the voice lines of the new characters. With that said, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, thank you for watching.